The Game Boy is easily one of the most iconic handhelds of all time. The simplistic 4-color graphics and terrific sound hardware make for an awesome 8-bit experience. Even better, games can be enjoyed with proper controllers on a TV thanks to the Super Game Boy and Game Boy Player peripherals. To celebrate Nintendo's little handheld that could, on today's episode of 5 Games, I present 5 great Game Boy games. Super Mario Land 2, 6 Golden Coins is my favorite of the Mario Land trilogy and really shows the care and effort Nintendo put into their Game Boy lineup. This isn't some watered-down Mario affair, but a fully realized massive adventure. The overworld is littered with different zones for Mario to visit, and after clearing all of the levels in a zone, you are rewarded with a coin. The 6 coins are needed to unlock Wario's castle, and are where the game's title comes from. What makes Super Mario Land 2 so awesome is the gameplay. First, Mario moves a bit slow, but this helps alleviate the screen crunch introduced with the tiny screen. Next, there's just an insane amount of variety here. Even within the same zone, levels can vary wildly from one to the next, and the game never feels repetitive or stale. There are also secrets as well, and finding the secret exits should give the game a bit of replay value and add some challenge to the otherwise easy game. Super Mario Land 2 also introduces the carrot power-up, giving Mario an extra high jump and the ability to float. It's an awesome power-up, and many sections of the game are perfectly designed to take advantage of this new feature. Lastly, the music is simply sensational. The compositions are some of the catchiest you'll find on the system, and are the ultimate earworms, sure to get stuck in your head for days to come. If you're looking for an entry point in the Game Boy's library, look no further than Super Mario Land 2. Kirby's Pinball Land was not HAL Laboratories' first pinball game, nor was it their last, but it is the one I've had since I was a kid. The game masterfully blends fantasy-styled pinball with the Kirby universe to create a truly memorable game. The 3 tables are each 3 screens high, and the main goal of the game is to reach the top to fight a boss. Making your way from the bottom to the top is a fairly straightforward affair. The goals and requirements for reaching the next screen are well thought out, while still challenging to accomplish. There is just something incredibly accessible about Kirby's Pinball Land that is hard to put into words. Perhaps it's the terrific graphics, which manage to repurpose all sorts of items and enemies from the platforming game and turns them into interesting pinball features. The catchy music from Kirby's Dream Land, as well as the sound effects, also returns and somehow works in the pinball environment. Above all else, Kirby's Pinball Land has some predictable flipper physics. Kirby is a bit floaty for sure, but everything works within the confines of the tables and really helps make this game an absolute blast. If you're looking for something familiar yet unique, give Kirby's Pinball Land a spin. Depending on when you're watching this, you're probably tired of me talking about Dr. Mario, but what can I say? It's one of my favorite puzzle game franchises of all times. This Game Boy version manages to capture the spirit of the NES original with few, if any, sacrifices. About the only thing I don't care for is how one of the viruses is a checkerboard pattern instead of its own color. It's a strange decision, but perhaps necessary on the original green Game Boy screen. In any case, the name of the game is simple. Rotate the medicine capsules to the appropriate virus. Match a line of 4, including the virus, and the virus dies, and you're one step closer to beating the stage. Upon completion, 4 more viruses are added, and you begin again. Something about managing all of the pieces, trying to set up combos when viruses pop, and clearing out safe areas to dump unwanted medicine capsules really clicks with me. Despite the NES version being arguably better in every way, Game Boy Dr. Mario still delivers a great game of Dr. Mario. The fantastic music and easy to learn, hard to master gameplay is still phenomenal, and I highly recommend it. Mega Man 2, not to be confused with Mega Man 2, is a great addition to the Mega Man franchise. The first 4 stages are remixed versions of Mega Man 2, while the second 4 are from Mega Man 3. While the game is admittedly stripped down compared to the NES originals, the Game Boy game is still worth a play. First, the gameplay is just as tight as ever. Mega Man's trademark jumping and shooting feels spot on, and the slide kick is just as useful as ever. Rush even makes an appearance and can be quite versatile when used correctly. While the level design is a bit simplistic and the bosses a bit underwhelming, Mega Man 2 is still an immensely enjoyable experience. The series has always represented a high point in action platforming, and all but the most critical gamers should find themselves having a great time. The developers did a great job cramming a full adventure onto the tiny screen, and with few exceptions, things rarely feel cramped or haphazard. The detailed graphics are some of my favorite on the system, and the remixed tunes range from good to outstanding. Whether you are a hardcore fan of the series or just looking for a great Game Boy game, Mega Man 2 is worth a look. And of course, you can't talk about great Game Boy games without talking about The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. Again, I can't stress enough how masterful Nintendo was at cramming a full console-sized adventure onto a minuscule cart with extremely limited hardware, but time and time again, Nintendo absolutely nailed it. Link's Awakening plays like a mix of the original NES Zelda and A Link to the Past. To me, what makes Link's Awakening so special is how perfectly the game is structured from beginning to end. With few items available initially, most of Koholint Island is not accessible. But as you make your way through the 8 dungeons, gaining new items, new areas of Koholint Island are slowly made available. The pacing here is just outstanding and can be appreciated by hardcore fans and newcomers alike. Also excellent are the gameplay mechanics. Link's Awakening seems fully aware of Link's limited mobility and never asks anything ridiculous of the player. Combat is fluid and satisfying, and navigating the world, including the jumping, feels fairly tight. Again, there is a balance here few games ever achieve. While the ending is mostly a letdown, the journey is still worthwhile, and Link's Awakening remains my favorite game of the franchise. Without a doubt, this is the quintessential Game Boy game, and a must-own. So, there you have it, 5 great games released for the Game Boy. Now, this is not a definitive list, nor is it intended to be a best of, and the Game Boy has far more than 5 great games, so be sure to leave a comment and let me know which Game Boy games you enjoy.